And you must be the wretched snake. Look at what you made me do. You're going to pay for that. And you think I care about that? Liar! And now, all I want, but as soon as what's so... What do you mean the same? But now that... But if the... Wait! You're... Liar! Give me one... What? Wait. So I did all this. What have I done? It's the air. But at least... It's too late. There's... What? Really? But if you're lying... You did it. You took away her pain. I don't know what to say. I swear I will never harm her again. I swear it. I'll stay here to keep her company. But these poor souls, what can be done for them? I've tried everything I can. I fear the only one capable of releasing them properly is whichever god doomed them in the first place. In any case, I must honor our bargain. The treatment for rheumatism is willow bark. I believe there's a pot of it already in the Shrine of Apollo. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there. Go, and never return.
A golden bow, just like Apollo and Diana. Feeling all right?
You made it into the palace. I'm impressed. How is Nick?
Willowback, I should have known. I have some right here. Could you do me a favor and give him some of this? He'll just need to swallow a pinch of it. I'm hoping it will avert disaster. Thank you. I'm really glad you arrived when you did. That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life.
Rufius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Sentilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Better
Don't
watch
be
your
too hard
step.
on yourself. From what I hear...
What
nobody
business is
saw
that
you
of
coming.
yours?
Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't
Willow
supposed to
bark.
worry about things you can't
And
control.
this will work?
Yeah, but
Oh,
keep
thank
thinking.
God.
what if
Finally, some relief.
What if
This
she's out
is
there
what I've been-
somewhere suffering,
I've
waiting
been-
to be found?
It was too
Sounds
much.
like you're torturing yourself. Leave
I
that for
owe
the
you
gods. Try to relax. Get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
See you around.
I suppose you're right.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you? Nobody's told you about Hannibal. So, one day, said he... Anyway, so I go down and hunt a... If it was a man, maybe. More like... I know what I saw, all right? Good idea.
You? Who are you? Did he send you? Thank Juno you're here. You have to help me escape. I'm Sentilla. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him. I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either. Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key. I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. There won't be enough time. Just you and me. There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick. What? No. You can't just leave me here. How can you be so heartless? It's no use. You'll never persuade him of anything. I'm dead. You're making a mistake.
So you survived the system.
Citizen, we're finally alone. We have? I must have entrusted. Is that about right? Seems rather brash, but all right. Why have you sought me out? Me? What are you talking about? You know, you remind me of him. Al Worth. The fellow who came through the portal before you. Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's... But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you were a little bit sharp. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck. The next time I awoke, you showed up. But you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I mean, you've lived through the day, what, 5 times? Extremely impressive. And yet everything, because there's no escape. Except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. So, you discovered my secret. Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely. To cheat death. I have become... And why would I agree to that? You and your pathetic morality. Nobody cares about your opinions, least of all, me. Understand that to me, you've never been anything. You might want to think that through. If anyone so much as touches me, everyone dies. The only way you're getting this key is over my dead body. And if I die, I won't be able to open the portal for you again, meaning you'll have created a paradox. You see, it was my actions that brought you to this point in time. So if you kill me, that means if I die, you'll be flung back to your original time, having caused the deaths of everyone here, and you'll never be able to undo it. Is that what you want? I certainly hope not. In fact, I want it to go on and on forever, until you wither and die. What are you going to do? Beg the gods? Now, get out of my villa. I'm...
Isn't the great temple majestic? I take it you've cleared the way to the baths? Follow me. But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together. All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means. I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can. That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the but it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Rome, each of them is slightly different. Whether the story... But they always involved the souls of the dead, meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouth. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described. And he, she, they... You say you saw a young woman, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kurti. And Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kamut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort. And then, I suspect, the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again. Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon, but that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal be? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain... No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings. Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the Golden Rule. All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules. Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered, but first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from... It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forced... If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive... It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the... You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt. However, this one is unusual in that means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th. Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. They've been known to start... If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, but I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find... I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum. Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern. I'm afraid you're on your own with that one. But perhaps finding the other 3 will... As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing... First, Proserpina. What we do know, it's said, the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her. If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being... Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those. Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Naevia. Can you tell me more? It's fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps, if she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you... Truly? Then why are you still here? Ah, I see. Then it seems you have made a great sacrifice for all of us, friend. I admire your compassion. True, but unfortunately, I'm afraid your only other option will be to confront you-know-who. All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone. In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with perception.
Rufius?
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the... But it does not.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Say it.
From what I
Speak
hear,
its name.
Anyway, I thought you stoics
Then
weren't
it is
supposed to
true.
worry about things you can't
I was
control.
right. I thought I saw it, but when the rest of... I had to tell myself it was true. Oh, I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found he gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if... I will do my best to remember. There is a downward... The sluggish Styx exhales vape. The wide, as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the... There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd, others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great...
Citizen.
Oh, hello there, partner. I'm glad you're here. You see, my plan was to give you a little fright, but when I opened it... Partner, there's no need for... Yeah, well, I don't have to listen to this. Get lost.
Ah, it's you again. Now. Well, it's a long one, and... one day, my but by my mother, more raid one night, I got but... Yeah, well, unfortunately, I tried to everybody was running. The next thing... That's what I... See, and even so, Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, but Sentilla, if any... Oh, I don't give... But I can't see how I could... Even I could... All right.
You again. No idea what you're talking about. right.
Don't you just love
After
springtime?
this, we're square. I think I have seen that plaque. Sorry I lied. Can't be too careful these days. Head into the caves behind the theater. Turn right again. Oh, and here. You'll need this key. You didn't get that from me. See you around.
Fortune
I
smile
love
on
Your
you,
best
clever.
behavior, I trust?
Back again. Certainly, for 10 denarii. Whatever you like. Not for a few weeks now. Last time I saw him, he was sitting at a table with Georgius, whispering about some job. I remember because they kept looking over their shoulders. The one word I kept hearing was vanishing. All right, see ya.
Hello?
come and join me by the fire. Welcome, welcome. It's a sincere... Tell me. Ah, yes, that I will tell you everything I know. The one thing I long for above all else before I... Let us find out with this simple question. Excellent. I see you are indeed quite... Now, will you join me in a... Wonderful. Would you say you know the difference between right and to what extent in... So, you're not... That is quite sensible. I'm reminded of something. Better to know that you know nothing than to... It is because you see out there in the world being uncertain. So we would tell lies and bend rules, but under the... So to... So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation? How can that be? Since they all have differences, it follows that in some case, if there is a correct moral code, then... Let me guess. Is it yours? Ah, so you think of all the thousands of competing morality systems, and you can follow that system. I honestly can't tell if you're seeking to frustrate me, or if you genuinely believe what you're saying. Good. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong? And to what extent? In every situation? So, you're not entirely... That is quite sensible. I'm reminded of... Better to know that you... It is because knowledgeable people have learned enough to know they know very little. In the broader scheme of things, you see out there in the world being uncertain about right and wrong was... So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind... But under the golden rule, morality matters. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree? So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing? Let me guess. Is it yours? And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person to change their position when presented with a superior argument. My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any harder. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people. And so we must accept our limitations. In mathematics, we would call it an act, because the only way to create a utopia is with the this and no other, and life under... I'm glad to hear that. You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing? I was a quarrelsome young man. Back then, it became heated. He drew a... I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return. But even with all my... I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of... They are one and the same. The Romans call him Plu.
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by... I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that he's I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, I'm afraid I am the only... Some from malnutrition. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen an... Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that... And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple. The greater challenge is the isolation. So I like so many things in life. As you wish. If I did, would... Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, when the Romans came, in typical fashion, thus the shrine of Persephone, and when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive, they gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through... However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, an even older plaque bearing... We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to we extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans, but it turns out this game has been good. I think it is better. There are certain things you must take this. I enjoyed our chat, but please, keep my presence here a secret, yes?